Fabulous Friday, True Medicine Tribe. It is Sarah Jane, and I just wanted to jump in and say hi and send you lots of love and support wherever you are, whatever you're doing in your way to a new day, and to just staying present in whatever it is that's coming up for you. And if you have any questions, post them below on, I have a cat right here, so if my tripod is shaking a little bit, I'm totally in nature. I don't know if you can hear the beautiful birds. It's a beautiful still night in Johannesburg, and you're totally supported. And if you, this is Snowy. Say hi, Snowy. Say hi. Say hi, people. This is my cute little white cat. And here's Blue. They're all around, holding space for you. And I was wondering if you may want to ask me some questions, some support on something that may be coming up for you that you're perhaps having some issues with. And just to check in with you this Friday and see what it is that you require and desire, and what you are perhaps asking for more clarity on, and how I can support you in changing anything that's standing in your way. So I'm kind of feeling called to do a short meditation today to really help you to create more calm and clarity in your life. And let's face it, it's pretty chaotic out there and pretty noisy. And if you were on the Facebook Live yesterday, you would have seen that there was an opt-in to receive a free PDF guide, my great 7 steps to how to create more internal peace and calm in your life, and just create more flow in your life. I want to just see if you can see all the cats here. Snowy. They're everywhere. So a lot of cat energy today, but yeah, I know a lot of people are barely hanging on to their sanity, barely hanging on to their cool and their joy and their well-being right now, because they're just trying to get to the end of the day, and we're all just, we have to-do lists that are too long, and it can be incredibly stressful, because life has got a lot richer. There are new stresses that are taxing us in ways that our ancestors never experienced, and we didn't get a manual when we came into this life, and even though they had a lot of stresses, hi Christina, everything's just sped up, and our reptilian brain hasn't really evolved to a point where it knows how to perceive real threat to an imagined threat. And that's why my work with the nervous system and how to reset it in the Out of the Blues program, and most of my work really starts with getting to the root cause of what is creating the pain and the suffering in your life. Oh, I've got cat hair all over my face now. Yeah, and it's kind of funny because my alarm, if you live in South Africa, we live behind 6-foot walls because there's this perception that we're not safe, and there is, the reality of it is that it isn't very safe here, and there is a sense of entitlement that's become very violent in our country. So we live behind big walls with electric fences, and my alarm kept going off last night. We eventually, thank goodness, had some rain, and because the trees and the bushes are so dry, a lot of debris had fallen on the fence, and it kept setting my alarm off. And I'm alone at home with my daughter, and so it's just like I didn't feel not safe, but I went around today to go and check and clear off anything that had fallen on the fence, and I managed to shock myself. So I had about 60 volts of electricity going through my body, and I'm looking a little fried today. I have been hit by electricity before, but this is not a nice feeling. If you've ever had that amount of electricity interfere with your own electrical component that runs up your own divine line, you know that it's not very present. Thank you for the hearts. I love the hearts. Keep them coming. So yeah, you know, it's just like our nervous systems are fried. We don't know how to neuromodulate because we're a go 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 all the time, and life can sometimes be very overwhelming. Sometimes we just feel like, oh my gosh, you know, a timeout. How do I get a timeout? And we don't want to be creating disease. We don't want to be creating a way to validate that we are worthy of having a timeout. And that's really what my work is about, to empower you to be your own medicine and be able to neuromodulate and track your emotions and reset your nervous system in a healthy way by expressing who you came here to be and using the tools, you know, using the education that I offer. Um, Otherwise it's just information, but pragmatic ways that you can actually come out of the shock and trauma systems, come out of virtual vibrational reality systems that are frying, literally frying your brain. Like, I didn't need an electric fence today to, and maybe I did, you know. That's another thing. It's just like interesting point of view that we think things are wrong, and I see this with animals so much too. You know, I've had horses that people say, oh, they've thrown themselves, you know, fallen and slipped, and animals that are clumsy, that are actually, other than entities, which is a whole nother conversation, but they're actually doing their own chiropractic adjustments or their own acupuncture, manipulating points to get their meridian flow going properly. So, you know what, maybe I needed a little bit of a zap to my own nervous system to rebalance something, I don't know. And I'm here and I'm talking, and even though my hair is a little wild, today, maybe that was exactly what my system needed in order for me to come back into some kind of sense of more balance, more peace, just more presence. And you know, quite honestly, you and I both know, you know, that we can work longer and harder, but we're getting less security every single day. And I know how hard it can be to find inner peace in the midst of all these competed forces of 24/7 communication. We're wired on the internet all the time. EMFs are bombarding. We have debt, we're burdened with excessive stuff, and we're living in a go-go culture of ever escalating doubts and a lot of expectations. And that's really where I believe that we need some simple, powerful practices, especially ones that sort of come from ancient wisdom and old traditions of our ancestral elders who really knew. Oh, keep them coming. I love the thumbs up. Thank you. But yeah, so to really just start to validate what science is proving, it has been here all along, that it is possible to create more harmony and balance through neuroplasticity, through lifestyle medicine, which is all in my work of how to empower you to be your own medicine, to reboot your nervous system, to clear the old traumas and move toward more inner peace, because that's what we all want at the end of the day. And you know, I hear so many people that are saying we need to have power over the ego and shut down our emotions and shut down the doing mind and go back into, you know, force and struggle. And I just want you to know that, you know, sometimes we need to lean into those things. And maybe I'm going to do a meditation, I don't know, but regardless, thank you for being with me here. I really appreciate you showing up. There's Splash. I don't know if you can see my other cat, my black and white cat, and I'm all about shadows, finding the gift in the shadows. But just be with me here regardless of what comes up, and share your comments and questions and let me know what comes up, so that we can really expand and learn together as this beautiful tribe of warrior women. Hello, beautiful. There you are. I asked for warrior women and you're all showing up. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Christina. You know, thank you for being here. It's Friday, so thank you for spending Sunday time with me and Splash and all the other cats. But you know, what a gift we can be to each other and to the world when we stop making the mind wrong and how it's showing up for us. And you know, it has a place. It helps you solve problems. It helps you get things done. It helps you problem solve. And you know, there's a book called The Mindful Way Workboard, John T. Still, Mark Williams, and Sandal Siegel. They write that for the doing mind to work effectively, we have to hold in mind and compare 3 ideas simultaneously. And the first one is, where am I in this moment? What is my current state in this moment? So you might want to ask yourself that and play along with me. And the second one is, where do I want to be with your desired goal or outcome? So where do you want to be? with what you're asking to bring into physical actualization. And then the third one is, what outcome do you want to avoid? Where do you not want to be right now? So let's put the doing mind and its gifts into practice and make it our friend. So let's say you have a goal, like finishing a project. Hi, Cindy. Or, just remember, when the mind's holding a lot of those three ideas in simultaneous sort of construct, that we reach those desired goals, a lot of times we avoid the undesired destination. So we need to look at, what do I need to prepare? What is the goal? What is the agenda? What's the target? Where do I want to be? And you want to realize where you don't want to be. What is the outcome that you don't want to avoid, whether that's in launching a program or in relationship or whatever. But when you're using doing strategy, the mind can do amazing things. We can create beautiful things. We can write poetry. We can paint paintings. We can build buildings or put a moon on the moon. The doing a mind can be extraordinary when you see it as a gift, but you can't look at it on its own. You have to look at it as this full encompassed being and knowing and doing and receiving of being in a spiritual experience in a body. And stop looking to avoid obstacles and rather look at what is the gift in this. And that's where the doing mind, when you're dealing with anxiety or depression or sadness or any of those sort of low vibrational frequencies, which we're all very familiar with, the doing mind has to hold space simultaneously of where am I in this moment, where do I want to be, and where don't I want to be. So let's look at emotions for a minute now, and I'm just going to kind of move myself around here. But if you look at depression or anxiety, if your doing mind is trying to fix or look at this as the deep-seated root of trauma and want to be happier or not want to be in that moment of presence, of feeling into that. Remember, we can't heal what we can't feel. When you're pushing that away and you're resisting, if the doing mind and your adrenals and your kidneys are doing their job right, they're going to always try and keep you safe. And this is where we often find the doubt comes up, which we talked about yesterday, and stuckness, so fence sitting or analysis paralysis. Instead of just being happy in the moment, your Danny doubter that we talked about is going to justify why it doesn't want what it doesn't want. And the reality of it is that the doing mind can't get us from a sad emotion to a happy emotion without pendulation. We need to start to look at the limbic brain, the being part, the emotional component of our brain, and let that come into place. So this is a synchronicity of interface of being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving everything in regards to what happiness means to you or success means to you. And the doing mind is where you get on that hamster wheel and you go into doubt and you perpetuate the problems of all the reasons, justifications why you can't have what you want. And this is where we go down the rabbit hole. And, given that there is neuroplasticity and that the brain is malleable and flexible and learns and grows from experience, every time a negative state of being occurs, you go back into that hamster wheel, right? You go back into that Mobius strip of doing the same thing over and over again with, thinking you're doing it differently, but you're perpetuating the duplicating systems. And we want to learn to recognize worry and rumination as a product of everything that is there to move you closer to what you want. And be able to look at the gift of depression or anxiety as not undesired, but as a willing participant in how you're showing up and living your life. Yeah. I should have brought my glasses, Jackie. I can't read this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is really what we've been talking about, Jackie, in the shadow dancing masterclass, of looking at tracking emotions and looking at where the mind is wanting to be important, and where contrast can be so valid and valuable in how you pendulate, neuromodulate. And I love the work you've got so much growth out of how you're tracking your emotions, and looking that when we stop resisting change, how we get to be able to flow through and know that everything is just an interesting point of view, and how we can ground that into what we want. So let's just do a little bit of stuff. So wherever you are sitting right now, just sit, or if you're lying down, just notice your divine line with the spine upright, and let's do a little orienting. And I cover this into great depth in Nervous System Reset in the Out of the Blues program. Jackie, you're in the shadow dancing. You know, we want to orient ourselves. So just recognize 5 things in your environment right now. So for me, I can see the pool behind me. I'm looking at the trees. I'm listening to the birds. And I can see an umbrella in the background. And I can hear the quiet hum of my pool pump as it starts to clean up the leaves after the storm. So what are 5 things that you can see in your environment right now? Just orient and track yourself to that. And then notice what you can feel in this moment. And for me, I can feel the wind on my face. My feet are on the floor. I can feel the back of the chair that's supporting me. I can feel this beautiful cashmere jersey that I have on. Just notice 5 things that you can feel right now. And then I want you to tune into 5 things that you can hear right now. And it might be my voice. Like I said, for me, I can hear the hum of the pool pump. I can feel and hear my breath. I can hear my daughter talking inside. And I want you to just really get into multi-sensory being right now. So what can you smell in this moment? You know, for me, I can smell the freshness of the rain that fell. And if you can't smell anything right now, think of the smells that you really love. Just tap into the beautiful smell. Maybe it's freshly ground coffee. Maybe it's the smell of your lover. Whatever it is for you, bring that in. And then think about 5 things that you can really appreciate. Hi, Elsa. So think about 5 things that you can really just appreciate about being home. Maybe it's that you're home. You're out of the traffic. Maybe it's that you have a beautiful cool drink. But just notice how just that simple 5 things, using the 5 sense and the 6th sense, which for me is creation. Creativity, I think, is the 6th sense of how we really get to be present and how we're co-creating our life. But just notice how easy it is to stop you from thinking and worrying and doing and ruminating about all the things that you didn't get done, or all the ways you're making yourself wrong, or all the places you're going into judgment with yourself. And how easy it is to get out of your head, out of the do mind, and back into your body. And I cover this a lot in the shadow dancing class, and some of my programs, like the Out of the Blue program, where we're really looking at, and Jackie, perhaps you can say a bit about that, but what the value has been for you in looking at how you've turned blind spots and trauma and old stories into truth telling, and move from assumption into actually asking for what you want. So check that out. You know, it's so easy to and yet it's not. I get that it's not, to get vulnerable and authentic and honest with yourself, and look at what the value is of punishing yourself. So if you want to know more about the shadow dancing class, please go ahead and check that out on www.accessyourtruenature.com. And you know, for those of you that have been showing up daily, you know this is not a push. I'm not selling anything. I really just do this in a way of supporting more people that are in my medicine tribe, and to just show up and honor and celebrate and see you. So I don't know what's going on for all of you. Are you home? Are you ready? Fridays is Shabbos if you're Jewish, and we've just gone through Yom Kippur in Jewish tradition, where it is the Day of Atonement, and the ways that we start to transmute these dark vibrational realities, the shadows, into triumph. And really reconnect with our true nature, with our soul on this spiritual journey, on this great adventure. So whatever it is for you and whatever Fridays mean to you, just stand in appreciation of that, and with your eyes open or closed, if it's safe for you to close your eyes, just notice your breath right now. And I love diaphragmatic breath because a lot of times the breath gets trapped in the diaphragm, which is the holding halfway house for emotions. So really deeply breathing into your belly, noticing the exhale, and just going inward with me right now. And if you are not driving, if it is safe for you to just flow and receive this, just turn your attention inward to your own inner soul, your heart voice, the one that brought you here to keep company with me, for which I'm truly grateful. And just take a moment to just give deep gratitude and appreciation for your wise inner woman, the wild woman that is so connected into her heart and her soul. Just acknowledge her and thank her for being here, for making this commitment to being able to be open and receiving a little soundbite from me, from nature, from whatever's coming up for you, that we can hold sacred circle as wise wild women, all aligned to being the change that we want to see in the world. And just expand your energy field out right now. I love the hearts, keep them coming. And just expand out to all the people that are on this call with you, connecting in, supporting, celebrating this connection. And just turning your attention into the birds that are going home, that are singing their song, the divine, the universal energies that are always here in support of us and ready to meet us wherever it is in that pathway to purpose and peacemaking and calm and clarity. And just take a few more deep breaths in. Just noticing if you are holding any tension, any tightness in your body, using the peace process, which you can still get on the PDF. The download of my 7 steps is all there waiting for you to receive. But just to notice, tracking your emotions, tracking where you may be holding tension. A lot of places is the neck and the jaw. Maybe you feel tension, just noticing where tension is in your body. Just allowing yourself to be present. We're not asking to change it. Hello, Splash, my little black and white cat. I love it. Every time we sort of go into shadow work, she always is there holding sacred space for me, for us as a community. But just asking the part and the pieces of you that perhaps you have fractured or splintered or divorced or let go of, just calling back all your energy now, allowing it to come home, and asking the parts of you that are holding any tension in your body what they want you to know. What is it that your body is trying to give you awareness on? And just tuning into that. And knowing that authenticity is living in your truth. It's the willing to get vulnerable. It's the willing to have these honest conversations with the parts of you that you're not comfortable with, and to know that you are divinely supported, and that we have to get quiet and expand our zones out, because sometimes they collapse, especially when we're in that chronic state of unpredictable toxic stress all the time. Just to expand your energy field out and out and out, and until you realize that you are infinite and you're not confined to the physical body, but the physical body is your beautiful horse, and you're the rider. So noticing where you can connect back into your body, because we often leave our bodies when we're in a state of shock and trauma. So we get to observe and witness our physical bodies being abused. So anywhere where you have had to do that out of necessity to keep yourself safe and alive, just know and remind that part that may be calling or screaming at you in body pain or sensation or negative emotion. Not that I believe any emotions are good or bad, they're all equal, and they're all equally relevant to gifting us what we need as the most appropriate energy and sacred holographic form and shape to give us what we want. So just allowing yourself to drop down and get quiet and just ask that part of your body what it requires of you right now. There go the beautiful birds. I just so love how supported and how synchronistic nature is, and how generously everything gives to us if we just allow ourselves to receive. The birds singing in the trees, the cats weaving and transmuting vibrational frequencies that are heavy. They're really good at moving those heavier vibrational energies, allowing the water to support us, and just having gratitude and appreciation for where you are right now and what it is that you need. And with that, I'm going to end it today, because that feels really, really complete. It's beautiful and still and fresh. Rain has let go of a lot of stagnant energies in my part of the world. So wherever you are, how can you allow nature to contribute to you? How can you allow your environment to support and nourish and feed you? Yeah, Jackie, forgetting the old story has been hard. Asking for what you want is hard. It is, because we're not willing to be that vulnerable. And, you know, I would invite you to go back to a time when you remember being wild, when you remember not taking no for an answer. You know, some part in your childhood when you knew that you could have anything that you wanted, anything that you desired, and that you never gave up. You never stopped asking until you got what you wanted. So what if you could invite that child part that knows that everything is possible and that you have infinite possibilities, and that is a little afraid because of experiences and life's hard knocks and the challenges that have grown you, made you the most resilient woman that I see, that has so much to give in the world. What if you could ask her what she needs right now? And use the peace process. I know we've gone through this in the mindfulness change process that you've done with me and in our private work, but revisit some of those conversations. And just allow yourself to ask, you know, really simple question of, what do you love about making things hard? Now, I believe the only thing that should be hard is a penis, if you want it. You know, it's like, what's the value of making life hard? Yeah, honesty. Yeah, you know, it takes a lot of courage, and you're brave and you're fierce and you're a warrior woman, and you're doing it. You know, you're living life from knowing that when you stand in your truth, not everybody's going to like it. Not everybody's going to want to be your cheerleader. You have to be brave, and you have to have your own back. You have to be your own cheerleader. And I know you know this, and I know you're doing it. But, you know, nobody has your back the way that you do. Nobody knows your body the way that you do. Nobody has your core desires. Nobody has your soul urges. Nobody has your pathway to purpose, your gold. What you came here to give to the world as only you can. And every one of those those moments that have been hard and been challenging for you have grown you into the beautiful woman that I see. So go anyway, even though you're afraid, even though it's hard. And know that everything is just temporary and that you're not alone. You have the support. It's all around you. And, you know, the fear of rejection is huge, right? In the old days, if we weren't, and we've talked about this a lot, and we processed a lot of this in the shadow dancing masterclasses that you came into, Jackie. But you know that when we assume, when we take ourselves out of being present and truly listening and tuning in to what that person can hear in relationship, and looking that everything is just an interesting point of view, then you're no longer at the effect of being the people pleaser or thinking that you have to show up. Yeah, ask more. Because, you know, what's the worst thing that could happen? That they say no. But remember the child that never stopped until she got what she wanted. Invite the child to show you how to do that again. Invite the child to be unstoppable, to be unbridled, unshackled, unraveled. Because there is no such thing as no in nature. And as children that were so in tuned before it got programmed and beat the crap out of us, we knew that we could have whatever we wanted. So ask that child part of you, invite her in and play with her this weekend, and maybe ask her, you know, what is it that would that she could show you about what it means to not take no as a personal rejection, because it's not. And then you can start to get really honest with yourself and ask, what is it that I require and desire in this moment, and can that person give it to me? Because sometimes we ask the wrong people, or we ask people that can't hear us or can't give us what we ask. And I always say that to my clients in my business programs, is like, don't promise something that you can't give. And that's the same in every relationship that you have. Is you can't, you know, don't hold yourself in a place where you are doomed to set yourself up to go back into self-flagellation and vilification and judgment and beat yourself up because you're setting unrealistic expectations, and be willing to see where other people are functioning from. Because when you're willing to see that, then there's no disappointment, there's no rejection, there's nothing. Aw, my pleasure, honey. I adore you. And I know you're in a huge transition and a huge up level in your life, and you're doing it. And honestly, I am celebrating with you, because I know you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to have your own back, and you have to start to shape shift and turn that, and you are, into empowered thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So anytime that doubt comes up, anytime you start to feel that victim or the inner saboteur coming up, just have a conversation and give it 5 minutes. You know, give that part that is in doubt, that is afraid, a voice, and thank it for showing up. Just as you can thank the energetic nudges and pains in your bodies for showing up to get your attention, because you know what, we're pretty stubborn. At least I am, as an A-type personality. I can be pretty stubborn, and it doesn't always work to my advantage. And sometimes our body smacks us just to get us to come back into your body, ground the energy. Sometimes you need to expand your energy. Sometimes we're overly grounded. But to look at how can I create more flexibility in my life in order to course correct, to really tap into your bright light, your North Star, your inner pilot light, and go there. And if there aren't any more questions, I'm going to love and leave you. And you know, I have some beautiful meditations that I have used for myself and want to share with you. Hi, Harry. How do I change why I am always at a dead end with everything I do in my life? Well, thank you for being vulnerable enough, and my birds are cheering you on to say, where are you? So here's a great question for you, and thank you, because I think this is one that we all go into. And I love these calls, and I love the questions when they come in, because I think often the people that are brave enough to actually show up and ask the questions are really holding that energetic collective that we're all ready to transmute and shift and change. So Harry, I honor and I thank you for that. And I'd like to offer you a clearing if you're up for it, and a couple of questions, because I've been in that place, you know, where it's just like, where are you killing your life? So here we go, deep breath. If it's safe for you, if you're in a high state of anxiety or hyper aroused, then don't breathe deeply, rather breathe out deeper. Just calm down your parasympathetic nervous system. And thank you, Harry. Okay, so what rescue is the past of the limitation of the present that would give you everything that you desire and require to live into your life, rather than killing your creative energy as if that's the only way that you get to fit in and be the same as everybody else that's killing themselves in order to have a life. And everything that brings up for you, can we just be willing to say yes? And let's just do a quantum shift on this, to dissolve, delete when required, because we've identified that as the dead ends, as the death of you in order to have a life that you don't believe is worth living. And let's just go back into your Akashic record, Harry, and I'm getting the age of 8 for you. So at the age of 8, whatever that is for you, and I get it was if somebody left very suddenly, and it was either an energetic death where they kind of pulled out and stopped whatever they did, felt like for you as that beautiful innocent child, as heaven above is below energy, that you were unlovable or that you were not worthy of being loved. So I'm just going to go back to 8 in this lifetime for you, and we're just going to edit anything on in your book, all the thoughts, feelings and emotions, all the decisions, judgments, conclusions, computations, all the oaths and vows and swearings and fealties and communities and promises and commitments, and any binding and bonding contracts that you've entered into, knowingly or unknowingly, that in order to live you have to kill yourself energetically, physically, mentally, emotionally, give yourself up, divorce parts and pieces of yourself and scatter your energy all over the world, so that you're living for everybody else's dreams, everybody else's visions, and there's no space for you to hold yourself in honoring and loving and living into your life as your legacy, and creating what you create as the living legacy, not the dead legacy. So everything that brings up, and anything that is ready to shift or change, and anywhere you've bought into that you cannot change, choose, or institute a different way of being, because sometimes we need the death of the old self, the false self. That 7th house is all about death of the false self. So anywhere you have kind of pushed the brake, put the pedal in the metal. Oh, I just got a thorn in my finger. So anywhere where you've got your life on hold, everywhere you're dying to live, rather than knowing that you're living into what you came here to create and generate and institute and share and gift to the world as only you can, because you know what it feels like to be at a dead end, not even a cul-de-sac, because there's no room to turn around, but anywhere where you've created death and the inception of death to keep you in that holding pattern of killing your life, killing your body, killing your joy, killing everything that's good and pure and right and meaningful and is your birthright to thrive. Anything that is, can we just destroy and uncreate any of that? And just know, even though that Harry's been the catalyst of this, that if this has any energetic resonance with you, this clearing will run to the most appropriate shape and form that you're willing to handle right now. Ah, I will die 1,000 deaths to start living again. All right, so Harry, all the lifetimes you've died over and over and over again in every variation and shape and form over thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes? Would you be willing to know that the debt is cleared? And everywhere you have been holding yourself in some kind of debtor's jail or death, the death of you, debt is the death of you. So anywhere you're holding yourself in indebtedness or in death of, that you have to keep killing yourself in order to create a beautiful life rather than receiving that the time is now. Would you be willing to revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate any and all of that, and know that you're free to start living life on your terms, as only you came here to live, and to share that gift of what it feels like to have the death of the false self, right? Which is very necessary. Thank you, Harry. Very necessary to have the petit mort that we do in climax, in orgasmic states. There is a little bit of you that dies every time that actually regenerates, that the rebirth and the renewal of the one energy has to come through in being willing to surrender into killing off, right? Cutting the dead wood, letting go of the parts that are ready to die in order to sprout new growth, right? And harvest that. And I'd love to know how you're feeling in your body after those energetic clearings, because I can kind of feel that in the back of my shoulder. As Christine said, you know, all the times we've been stabbed in the back, every time we died to keep our family alive, every time we died for the fealties, you know, for king and country, all of those. Ah, good for you. Take a breath. Yeah, so all the times you've been stabbed in the back, Jackie, all the lifetimes where we knew each other before, because I really know that there's such connection with my tribe. We know our medicine was strong. So all the lifetimes you were persecuted, all the lifetimes your family was put in the burning chair and tortured and suffered, and you made promises that you would rather die than have that happen to the people that you love again, including hiding money or having money, because money's a big one in regards to death and debt and taxes. Whew. So all of that, let's just go back into the book and let's just edit, transcribe the new story, and dissolve, transmute, delete, destroy, and uncreate any and all of the old story that no longer serves you, all the 1,000 deaths you've died, all the times you laid your life, all the sacrifice, all the sacrificial lambs, knowing that you are the Christ consciousness energy, bringing that in, if that resonates with you, or divine creator energy, Lionheart, any connection you have to the animals that hold that divine light, the cord of knowing, being, perceiving, and receiving, that you are both lion and lamb, predator and prey, and all the places where you have promised never to be like those people in any way, shape, or form, the ones that kill others in order to have what they want, including the destruction of the planet and other people's lives and animals and all the crap that's going on in the chaos that we just created peace and calm with in the beginning of this conversation. Just allowing yourself to acknowledge that we have all been the persecutor, the witness, and the one that was persecuted, traumatized, killed, burnt at the stake for your magnificence, your medicine. And let's just clear all of that. If it's ready to clear for you. If it isn't, just ask what is required of me in order to gain the insight and the wisdom, in order to acknowledge, impregnate, assimilate, identify, and then on a cellular level, recalibrate and recreate from all the old DNA, RNA, LNA on your cellular line, genetic line, ancestral line, all the lines across all time, space, dimension, and reality, where you have died 1,000,000 deaths over, and you're willing to live into your life because the debt is cleared And the world needs you alive, Harry, and everybody else. It's a subject very close to my heart, as one that knows sometimes that death is the only way out. And energetic death is a spiritual awakening a lot of times. So all the places you've spiritually divorced yourself from trusting that you came into this one precious life to live as your legacy, to serve, to create, to capitulate, to alchemize pain, suffering, disease, and liquefaction. Whew. For the people that you don't even know are looking for you to show up and live into their legacy, because you are the catalyst, the bright spark, the flame, the violet flame, the alchemist, the inspiration, the light worker, the Christ consciousness, whatever it is for you, add that in there. And anything that doesn't allow that to shift or change, and all the places where you have bought into that the only way to create, to serve, is to kill yourself or your creative energy or your living or your money flows or your relationships or whatever it is, just throw it all in there. And I know, Christina, we talked about this earlier. So anything that is, burn that into the energetic fire. Use whatever resonates with you as far as visualization. And if you want to write these down, last week we did the full moon incantation and ritual, and we've started the envision process for 2017. So write it down and burn it in a fire if you find that helps. My black and white cat. Oh, I love that, Elsa. Yeah. So would you be willing to see the gift of the shadow and the light as both parts, yin and yang, anima, animus, connection, the web that has no weaver, that we're all connected into, to shape-shifting and changing and alchemizing and up-leveling all these old 3D masculine realities into the 5D reality of loving whatever arises, of allowing our cellular memory to upgrade. So all the old genetic codes to be replaced with the new genetic code, all the old DNA, RNA, LNA to be replaced with new healthy DNA, RNA, LNA. And let's just get a spin on the divine line. And just keep that spinning, transmuting, burning up as the phoenix rises, using the fire, using the elementals in any way that you need, and allowing yourself to see the gift and the shadow and the light as all things equal. And I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you for showing up on a Friday. It means so much to me to be able to come to you and have technology hold. And I hope that you are finding these little daily doses of body mind medicine to really support you in standing up for your truth and stepping into and accessing your true nature, going into the shadows and seeing the gift of wherever it is you've been, wherever you're traveling right now, to know that when you ask for what you want, when you take a stand and you put your stake in the ground and make the demand, the universe is always there to meet you. And we have to be really aware and very mindful of what we're asking for, that we're not asking for things from a place of attachment, from a place of what we don't want, because your body will make you right. And if you think you have died a million deaths, and I say that with absolute love because I've been right there with you, Harry, the universe will show you another million ways to die, or you can ask the universe to meet you in the place to show you how to live, because you are loving exactly where you are. Maybe I am a bit more difficult. Harry, there's, you know, maybe part of that is the judgment, because there is no maybe, is trusting what you know, that you've never been normal and you don't want to be, because there's nothing normal about anybody that I know, that's in this tribe. We're not settling for less here. We're not settling for anything that's minimalized. We're wanting, you know, I want you to turn that around and look at, what do you love about creating difficulty? What's the value or the punishment that you get from trying to fit and squeeze and cut and parts and pieces of yourself and divorce yourself from the parts of you that came into this world to be unique as only you, you know, there's only one of you, and to really receive and acknowledge your capacities and talents as only you have. Yeah, so be willing to receive it, Harry. I'll post the replay, and you know, I would be honored for you to reach out and touch somebody and let somebody tell you how magnificent and extraordinary you are. There's nothing ordinary about you. If you're here, I know the people that show up are extraordinary. We're not settling for normal. You know, we're not settling for less than, and we're not dying, and the birds are in total agreement with me. You know, I don't want you to settle for less than. I want to see you step into your magnificence and own and acknowledge that you are not normal. You're exceptional. You're Harry Valvis. And you came here to gift what only you have to give in the world. Not something that someone else has, but what you came here to give us, just like everybody else on this call. And I love you all, and I'm so grateful that you shared a moment with me. The sun is setting, the birds are roosting, and they're telling me that we're done. So if you have any comments or questions, let me know. I might post the link. Otherwise, go to my SoundCloud account, Harry, and I would suggest that you know, go skim through, read the menu of things, and see if there's something there that pulls you in and draws you in as support for you right now, to really step into owning everything you came here to be, and know that you're so loved and so supported, and that I know everyone, including me on this call, wants you to live. We want you to live into your legacy. We don't want you to die another 1,000 deaths, unless that's something that you want to choose. But what if there was an easier way? And what if there was a more beautiful, expansive way than dying or death? So kill off the parts you don't need anymore, so that the new and the rebirth and the renewal can come in, because your cup is, you know, you've emptied out your cup of all the stuff that is killing you. So that's a great place to go today, maybe for you, is write down all the things that are ready to depart, that you're ready to kill off, including the inner saboteur, the voice that wants you to be normal, that wants you to keep safe. Thank it for keeping you safe, but just let it know that part of you at 8 that felt that life had to be difficult, that you had to fit in and not stand out because tall poppies get cut down, that it's okay for him to come home to you, the beautiful, wise adults and the sage that you came here to be, and hold that part of yourself. And if you'd like to go deeper into that work, I would be honored to tell you how you can do that with me, if that resonates. But have a beautiful weekend wherever you are. I invite you to spend some time in quiet contemplation of what we've talked about this week, of going through doubt, of giving the inner saboteur a voice, of using the peace process, and of really honoring the parts and pieces of you that have done whatever they had to do, including dying a million deaths in order to keep you or your family safe. And just letting them know that they can leave now, that you've got this thing, because you are wise beyond belief. And the world's waiting for you, not somebody like you, but you, and what you came here to give to the world as only you can. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me. Your work matters, and you matter to me, and I honor and acknowledge every one of you. So go be amazing. Enjoy your weekend wherever you are. Mwah.